Welcome to Seattle College's international programs and our show Conversations With, where we talk to people that help you understand how you too can be an international student in the United States and why Seattle Colleges should be your first choice. We'll talk to students and staff and agents and government folks, all kinds of people about what you can expect when you're getting ready to apply or travel here, what you'll experience while you're with us, and how it can all lead to an amazing life. Don't forget to check out the Seattle College's International Programs website at intl.seattlecolleges.edu, where you can find a treasure trove of information about the school, the programs here, and best of all, fill out and submit your application. Again, that's intl.seattlecolleges.edu. Hey everybody, welcome back to Seattle College's Conversations With. We're here in a very different place today. We are here in the apparel department. The apparel program is housed here, and I'm with Annie, who's going to tell us all about this great field of study. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm really excited because I've had students ask about apparel design. They want to know if they can come to Seattle from overseas and study this. We're hoping you're going to answer all those questions. So let's start with the basics. Who are you really, and where did you come from?
Yeah, I'm Annie. Mm-hmm. I'm a program assistant for the Apparel Design program here at Seattle Central. I actually am from the Seattle area, and I graduated from the program in 2016.
Gotcha.
So I'm back now. I just started again this year, so happy to be back.
Cool. Does it feel weird to be back as an employee rather than as a student?
No, not really. I mean, it still feels super familiar. I think just because of all of the time that I spent here, it's kind of crazy that it's been so long. But yeah, everything feels pretty familiar.
Right. And just so people, they're singing in the background all this cloth, and so where are we? What are we doing in here? What is the?
Yeah, so we're in the kind of like the fabric room. We have all of the supplies in here, so if students need fabric for projects, of course they can get their own, but we also do have a lot of donated supplies here that are available for students.
Who donates those supplies? Where do they come from?
Various companies, individuals in the area, yeah.
Right. Do students have to pay a fee to like buy fabric, or do they have to bring their own generally, or do you guys just supply everything?
So generally it is a mixture of lab fees. These we do supply. They do have to buy some of their own supplies as well.
Okay. Well, good enough. Let's get into the program itself. What is the program? What are they learning here, and what does it prepare them for? Why is the program here so special?
Yeah, so our program, it's a 2-year, 6-quarter, 95-credit program. The graduating students earn an applied sciences degree, associated of applied sciences in apparel design and development, and then they're ready to just go straight into the workforce.
Just head in there.
Yeah.
So a bachelor's degree to work in this field is not necessary.
It's not. We have a really high employment rate. So generally, when I graduated, I know it was 100% of students were employed in the industry within 6 months of graduating, and it's usually in the high 90s. And there are a lot of companies around here. Our program is really well known with companies in the area just for being a really thorough and technical program. All of our teachers have experience in the industry, and they definitely bring that to the classroom, which is super helpful.
How many teachers are there?
How many teachers are there?
I mean, is it a large staff?
I think we have, let's see, 6 teachers, I believe. Yeah.
And total number of students, that includes domestic and international?
Total number of students currently enrolled in the program is about 62.
Right.
Yeah.
And before we started rolling, I asked you if there were any international students currently enrolled, but you said no, there's none at the moment.
I don't believe that there are right now.
Okay. So we want to see you here. Do you have a cap on the number of students that you can allow in a cohort? Or
So we allow 40 per year.
40 total.
Correct.
Of those 40, do you have a limit on the number of international students, or is it kind of first come, first serve?
Yeah, first come, first serve, no limit on international students.
Well, that's really great. So I read that we are the most technically oriented design program in the region. That's on the website.
Yeah.
I kind of want to know, what does that mean exactly, most technically oriented?
Yeah, so I think a lot of design schools, especially the ones, I mean, now we don't have many in the area, but that were here previously, they focus more on the design aspect of things, maybe weren't as specific when it comes to the way that things are constructed or taught, because we do teach, we have pattern making, design, construction, technology, and then the history of apparel design. So I think that because our teachers have so much experience in the industry, we have really great like pattern making teachers, construction teachers that make sure that everything is made to an industry standard, which many schools I think don't focus on.
Well, I took a tour before we started. Lots of different machinery here. I mean, can you give me an idea of how many machines there are, or what you have? You were naming off a number of machines. This might not mean anything to some of us that don't do apparel, but maybe for those who are interested.
Yeah, I wish I could tell you how many machines we have.
It's a lot.
I don't know. It's a lot of machines. Yeah, so we have all industrial machinery. We have sergers. We have cover stitch machines, buttonhole machines. Of course, we have a lot of sewing machines.
Yeah, it's a big space here. This room is fairly small, but out there it's a lot. Do you know how big this space is?
It's about 10,000 square feet.
It's really big.
Yeah.
There's lots of room to spread out.
Yeah, we've got huge cork pattern making tables, which is super nice. We have our own computer lab, which is really nice as well.
Yeah, it is very cool.
Yeah.
So it also said that on the website that the graduates are prepared for a wide variety of jobs within the industry, including designers, technical designers, pattern makers, stylists, costumers. There's a lot of different jobs in this field.
There are a lot of jobs, yeah. A lot of people aren't aware of all of the different jobs that are out there, you know. But there are a lot of jobs, and they all seem to require kind of a lot of knowledge. So I think this is a really great program, just to get people ready for whatever different types of jobs. And it's also a great way to kind of learn about all of the different jobs that are out there.
Right. So I think if you talk to your Joe on the street, they're going to say, oh, all clothes are made in Bangladesh, or all clothes are made in China, or whatever. But that's not true, right?
No, that's not necessarily true. Yeah, there are a lot of things made domestically, a lot of garments. And of course, I mean, all of the design process also happens here. Pattern making generally happens wherever the headquarters are, which many times is in the U.S.
Right. So sometimes it's designed here, but then maybe stitched together somewhere else?
Yeah.
Can you tell the viewers, Seattle has quite a few clothing companies. Can you tell us who's in town, and do they work with our graduates regularly?
Yeah. We have Tommy Bahama, Cutter and Buck, Filson, who else? I don't know. There's so many.
REI?
Sanmar. REI is in the area, as well. There are a lot of different companies here.
Outdoor Research?
Outdoor Research, yes, definitely. Thank you.
I was thinking of that because I do a lot of hiking. So
yeah, that's another good one. Those are all in the area, and we have a lot of graduates also who move to different cities. We have somebody who works at Patagonia.
Oh,
down
California.
in California, Southern California. A lot of students move to New York, LA.
Of course, those are very, I know Portland, Oregon has some companies too, like I think Pendleton is in Portland.
Yeah.
And they're shoe manufacturers. Do you do anything other than clothes? Do you do shoes? Or is this strictly clothes?
No, we're focused on apparel. We do some like bags.
Oh, okay.
And we do a lot of outerwear too. Yeah.
So do you guys like have a fashion show every year?
Sometimes. So at the end of the second year, the students work on curating 3 looks. So they design them, they make the patterns for them, they construct them, and then at the end of the year, we have a showcase where the students have their own little stands that they can design however they'd like, and they show their looks, and we have a lot of industry professionals that come out, and it's open to the public, so anyone can come and see the showcase.
Is that here in this?
It's in the school. Yeah.
It's at school. So that's what, May, April? They must be finishing.
June.
They're finishing. Okay, in June.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So if they watch your website, will it tell them exactly when that showcase is?
Yeah, definitely. Social media, too.
Check that out. Yeah, check out the social media. If you're overseas and you're thinking about this program, you might be able to see some of the things they're up to on there. Do you have your own social media page, like your own TikTok channel or anything like that?
Yeah, so it's all School of Apparel Design and Development. And if you go to our website, too, we have links to all
So you have your own special website outside of the normal Seattle colleges.
We do.
Wow, check it out, guys. Do you want to give them the link or the URL for that?
So I believe it's, if you just go to the Seattle Central website, then you can find it from there. There's a link to our website, and it's School of Apparel Design and Development.com.
Okay, check that out, guys. That's really good to know. I didn't know that. So you were saying that classes are pretty intense. So if a student comes here, what should they expect? Like, are they just going to be here Monday, Wednesday, or Thursday, Friday? What's their schedule look like?
I would say that it's going to be a pretty busy schedule. So classes, we have Monday, Tuesday classes. They're 6 hours long. So the lab is open from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. So there's a lot of time where students can work on their projects in the lab, but it definitely is a time-consuming program just because we have so much information that people are learning in 2 years. So it's great in that sense, but it also is quite intense.
Right. Now, so is there any room for electives, or is it these are the classes you're going to take, that'll get you through?
Yeah. That's
how
it goes. Yeah.
So you're going to take this, then you're going to take this, then you're going to take this. Okay.
Yeah.
So because of that, it sounds sequential.
It is.
Do they have to start in the fall, or can someone start in the spring?
They do have to start in the fall, yes.
Good to know. Is there an application deadline that's different for your program than, say, just your normal general application deadline?
So there's not, but in order to get into the program, you have to first take our skill development courses, or you can show that you have proficiency in sewing and that you're able to make something, but most students who try to test in don't pass.
Okay.
It's really good just to get familiar with the industrial machines to take those skill development courses. So we have 2 routes. There's either 3 classes you can take. So it's 096, 098, and 100, and those start in the fall.
Okay.
So they're fall, winter, spring, so that then in the next fall, you're ready to start the program. Or now we have a more intense program. It's 099, and that one is available in the summer. So it's basically all 3 of those classes in one.
So you could come in the summer, take that, get ready, then start in the fall.
You could, yes.
Okay, well, that's good to know. If I have a student overseas that is applying as an international student and you want to see their skills, do they just videotape themselves? How do you work with international students in an application process?
You know, I don't know that we've done that before.
Okay.
In terms of the testing in option, that's usually not something that we do. It's just kind of in special circumstances where there's someone who has a lot of experience with industrial machinery and with sewing and maybe with some pattern making too. But we could definitely work that out.
Sure.
Yeah.
Or maybe come for the summer, do that work, and then start in the fall, I suppose. They could do that as well.
Yeah.
But if is there a chance that they could do the summer work and then not get into the program? Is there a risk of that?
There is. It's generally not a problem.
Okay.
Because usually we don't have excess students who are wanting to get into the program.
Gotcha.
But it just depends. I mean, it is a possibility.
Okay, well, plan ahead. And they can always reach out to you as well, right?
Yeah,
they can send you
course.
emails. You can send emails. Either I can provide it to you or one of the other outreach recruiters, or you can send Annie. Her information is right on their website. So send them a message. Ask all the questions you want.
Yes.
So, they earn an AAS when they're here. Let's say they finish their 2 years, and instead of just going right into the workforce, maybe they are like, I really would like to continue my studies. I want to transfer somewhere and do my junior, senior year and get a bachelor's degree.
Yeah.
Is that possible with an AAS?
So that is possible. We've had students do that, and I know that some credits have transferred over for them. I'm not sure. We don't have any agreements with other colleges.
Okay.
In terms of like which courses will transfer over or which credits. So I'm not exactly sure what that would look like. I think it just kind of depends on the school that you're wanting to go to.
Do you know of any local schools that offer a bachelor's degree in apparel design?
I do not know of anywhere locally.
Okay, so you might have. If you're doing research, you may be thinking, "Hey, I'd like to start at a community college because you're going to save money." You can start here, do 2 years, and then do your research. Contact those 4-year schools ahead of time on your own and ask about the process. They can tell you what may or may not transfer, how you can best prepare yourself. But either way, you would graduate with an AAS, so you'd be good to go there. But if you're going to transfer down the road, think about contacting those schools now. Wow, all right, good to know. How many international students have you had, say, in the last couple of years? I know you don't have any now, but is it usually maybe 1 or 2 per cohort, or maybe just 1, or do you just not see them very often?
We don't see them very often. Yeah.
But you would like them?
Of course, yes.
Of course.
Of course we would.
Yeah. No, I know I get interest. I know people reach out to us and they say,
Yeah.
"Hey, I hear about this apparel program. Can you tell me about it?" So we generally send out information or give them the links and stuff. But we'd love to see you guys come here. We think that adds a lot of diversity, different points of view, regional stuff. I know
Absolutely,
the culinary program has that. It would be great to do here as well.
Yeah.
Very nice. All right. Well, it says that there's an internship component to the program. How does that work exactly?
Yeah, so that's a 5-credit course is the internship course, and that one requires 165 hours of internship time. So that one generally students will do in the summer between first and second year, just because then they don't have any other coursework that they should be focusing on. So it gives them a lot more free time. And we work with a lot of local companies. I remember doing my internship. It was really easy to find one, and it was a really great experience. I actually did a couple of them. So it's just a really great way for people to gain more experience, kind of get some industry connections, and potentially land a job.
So in these internships, they're not just having you get them coffee, or they're actually having you do things or having you work?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah,
okay,
definitely.
Like what did you do?
They're all different kinds. I did one with a stylist, and then also with someone who owned his own clothing brand. So I worked on his website a lot, and just kind of worked with him on curating that.
Oh, so you kind of worked on the more business side of it as well.
Yeah, there are different options. You know, we do learn a lot of computer skills here. Like we do a lot with Illustrator and Photoshop. And things like that, and we get our own websites and portfolios ready. So we are doing a lot of that side of things as well.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I know that the culinary side of the house, they do the business of culinary. You know, they learn to manage a restaurant, those kinds of things. Are there a number of business-related classes within the program?
There are, yeah. Okay. We have business classes.
And so they're learning to start their own brand, how they market the clothes. What do they do in those business classes? Yeah,
just kind of learning about the cycles of fashion, how things work, when you need to design things by, because, of course, if you're making things overseas, there's a timeline.
Sure.
And even if you're making them here, right, it's a long process from when you think of your idea to when it's actually produced. So we learn about pricing, all kinds of different things that you might need to know. Yeah, to either start your own brand or just to be successful working for someone else.
So some of the companies we mentioned earlier, like Tommy Bahama, are they having their clothes produced overseas, or are they actually making some of those clothes here?
Tommy Bahama is produced overseas. Prairie Underground is another local company that hires a lot of our graduates, and they actually make their garments here.
They do make them here?
They do, yeah.
That's really cool. I know of a company, they're back east, I think they're in Maine, called Origin, and they make things like jeans, and they started off making Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gis.
Oh, cool.
So they have a kind of a specialty, but I think they're expanding their line. And all their clothes are made here in the United States.
Great,
so hopefully we'll see more of that in the future. Do you think that's going to happen?
I think a lot of people are really thinking about sustainability.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so Prairie Underground, for example, I know that they're really focused on sustainability. I think that has a lot to do with them also producing things here.
Right. And when you say sustainability, are you really talking about the fabrics that they choose, like, say, merino wools or hemp clothing or those kinds of things? Are you talking about non-polluting approaches to the business? I mean, what does that mean exactly?
Both. I mean,
Oh,
there's
well,
so many different things.
Yeah. This is not my field, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many aspects of it. But, yeah, I mean, using as much of the fabric as you can, right? So wasting smaller amounts, how they're dyed, where they're produced and manufactured has a lot to do with that, too, just because of different countries and different laws and things like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Do a lot of people do their internships out of the country? Like, do they fly to France and work at some clothing design place there? Or do they go to Bangladesh and work in a factory? I mean, where do those internships stop?
I'm sure that you could do that. Yeah. I haven't heard of anyone doing that. I mean, I know after graduating the program, a lot of people will go to other countries, but during, I'm not too sure about that. But I'm sure that if that was something that you wanted to pursue, that could be an option.
You could be supportive of that. Be creative, guys. Use your imagination. And if you're an international student, what a great opportunity to maybe go home and work in your own markets or industry there, and then bring that experience back to the classroom. That'd be cool.
Definitely.
Wow. All right. Well, let's see. Is there any, you had already talked a little bit about applying. Is there anything else that's special in the application process? Do they have to, I don't know, normally, they do an application, there's an application fee, they upload transcripts or, English proficiency exams.
Yeah.
These are things that international students do. And you talked about the test, but is there anything else they need to include or that's special when they do apply?
I don't think so. I mean, it's just kind of the general college application, I believe,
Okay.
and then we also have a computer requirement. So they either need to take the test. I think it's the SAM test, and that kind of measures computer proficiency. So it has a lot of Excel questions on there, or they can take a class. I think I have them here. Yeah. So. You can complete BTM 111 or BTM 101, which is a word class, BTM 102, or take the SAM challenge test. So those are the options for filling that requirement.
Well, there you go. So if you have more questions about those, reach out and you can get that information. All right. We already talked about it's only fall quarter. It says that there's a required orientation a week before, but is that in addition to what they have as an international student? Because there is an international student orientation that's a week before classes. What's your orientation all about?
Yeah, so our orientation, we just kind of go over what to expect in the program, because a lot of students don't know about the apparel design program, even if they're in the prerequisite or skill development classes. Just kind of talking about lab hours, things like that. They can purchase their kits for the year. And just going over, class structure, things like that. So it is really important.
So when you say kits, what does that mean? Is that like
kits.
A toolkit?
It is kind of a toolkit, yeah. So it's supplies that students need for the year just to get started.
So I'm guessing what? Scissors,
what's in the kit? Paper, snips, kind of special scissors for pattern making, pins, thread, bobbin cases.
Cool.
Yeah, rulers.
If they're coming from overseas, is that list of stuff in the kit online? Can they pick that stuff up before they got here? Or do you guys have your own special kit that everybody has to get?
Technically they probably could pick that up if they wanted to before they got here, but our kits are really well priced.
Cool.
And they have really good items that will last throughout the year because we get a lot of use out of them, so it's good to have quality items.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you're a hairdresser, like hairdressers get very attached to their shears and their scissors, and does that happen in this industry? Or cooks, they've got their knives and nobody touches their knives. Does it get that way? Does it get territorial?
Oh, definitely.
Does it?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
You have your own pencils, your own special scissors for everything. Yeah. Definitely.
Right on. I thought maybe that might be the case.
Yeah, very important to have good tools for sure.
All right. And now it says that the credits are 95 and that they will have that capstone project. You talked about the end of the year, some of the things that they do. What are the other kinds of classes? Can you just give me a rundown of some things that they'll do that they might expect? Also, a question I have is, if I'm a philosophy major or a history major, I would definitely have to take maths and sciences and maybe physical fitness or whatever to have this very broad prerequisite stuff. Do you guys have to do those kinds of classes? Like, would someone in your program have to take a history class, or is it a very special history class? Would they have to take a math class?
So we have history of fashion.
Oh, okay. So it's specific to you guys.
It is,
okay.
yeah. And there is a lot of math intertwined in the classes. For example, pattern making, we have pattern grading, and those include a lot of math, a lot of fractions. So it's definitely good for students to know about fractions and to kind of brush up on that beforehand. We definitely recommend that just so that they have a smoother transition into the program and they're not getting caught up on those little details. So those definitely have a lot of math aspects. And then we have business of fashion, history of fashion, technology. There's a lot of really cool technology that we use now.
There's a lot of cool technology out there.
And we have so many resources available to students. We also have a lot of guest speakers because we have so many graduates who are in the industry and have been in the industry, all around the U.S., all around the world, and they'll come in and just kind of talk about their experience and give advice for getting jobs and things like that.
Do we have anybody famous that's graduated from it? Anybody with their own clothing line that someone might recognize?
We have Rafael Soto, who has Proto 101. I know they have a location in Westlake, and also I saw one recently in Bellevue Square. So that's a clothing brand. He was a graduate from here. Yeah, we have many graduates who have started their own clothing line. Ken Downing, he's the creative director, I believe, of Halston currently. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, and he's had some really major roles.
So. What would be the barrier to starting your own clothing line? Is it a difficult industry to get into, or if you have a creative bent and you are persistent, it generally can work out? I mean, I don't know much about the industry, so.
I mean, I would say it's difficult, starting any business, right, is difficult.
True.
There's a lot of overhead costs generally, but I mean, you can also do it on a smaller scale, especially with social media these days.
Right.
If you have a following and you have people who are interested in buying things that you make, I mean, there's really no limit on, what you can do with very limited resources.
It seems like a lot of it is, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like a lot of selling of clothing is really about marketing. Like, for example, Under Armour, they used to be nobody. Yeah. And then they just are like this $1 billion company now.
Yeah.
But it seems like they're just making the same kind of stuff that a lot of other, like Adidas and Nike are doing.
Yeah.
So it seems like a lot of what contributed to their success was just great marketing. Would you agree with that? Or do you think there's a lot more to it?
I would agree. I would say there's a lot more to it. I would say they're a very big company, obviously, so they're able to compete. I would say they make things that people want to wear. Yeah, I mean, I think they have good quality products. Maybe they don't look super unique, but maybe that's also not what people want.
Right, maybe not.
Yeah,
it seems like there's a ton of sportswear out there.
There is a lot of sportswear, yeah.
And more, there's a lot of outdoor gear, especially here in the Northwest.
Oh, there's so much here, yeah, so many companies.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. And there's so much that goes into the outdoor gear, so many aspects.
Yeah, right. And different kinds of materials. I mean, like Gore-Tex.
Yeah, lots of technology, very technical. Yeah.
So is there a particular area that you like personally? Yeah.
I would say.
Are you high fashion? Or?
I'm more into just, fashion, clothing. I mean, not necessarily anything that's super technical, not really outdoor wear. Yeah, probably just things that I would like to wear.
Nice.
More fun.
Well, that's really great. I think this is very cool. I hope you guys will check this out. Apparel Design has been here and will be here for a little while. Give them a call, send them an email, talk to them about the program, and get excited because it's really cool. Anything else you want to close with? Like something I didn't ask that maybe you want to make sure that they're aware of?
I think that's it. I mean, we're always looking for new students. We love students who are really enthusiastic and who really want to be in the apparel industry. This is a great program. I mean, it's such a great resource to have here at Seattle Central, especially because of the cost. It is a very intense program, but students are really prepared to go into the workforce, and you learn so much in just 2 years.
Right. Okay, guys. Well, thanks so much for your time. It was great meeting you. Thanks for the tour.
Yeah, of course.
Check it out, guys. Check out their site. Learn all about it. Hope you'll come, apply, be an international student in the apparel design department. Check us out every Wednesday here at Seattle College's Conversations With. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Conversations With is painstakingly crafted for you by the Seattle College's International Programs Department and supported by the lovely folks here on our campus. This show is produced and edited by me, Evan Franulovich. We welcome your emails and questions about coming to Seattle Colleges. Please reach out to us via our website or just give us a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts, as this helps others discover the show. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or YouTube at Seattle Colleges INTL. That's Seattle Colleges INTL. And be sure to check out all of the shows here on Conversations With. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.